Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your horoscope for Saturn in Aquarius, which will enter on March 21st. We're going to see it for a short period. It will leave on May 11th, which it will come to a retrograde at 1 degree of Aquarius. And from there, on July 1st, it will retrograde back into Capricorn, and we won't see Saturn return into Aquarius until December 17th, which will be the official point where Saturn will enter into this new transit, as it will last until March 7th of 2023. But in between that, we do see major conjunctions with Saturn and Mars, as well as Saturn and Jupiter, which is a once-in-a-lifetime transit. Saturn and Jupiter is known as the Great Conjunction, so we're also going to talk a little bit about that as well. So starting off here with this first major shift of this Saturn in Aquarius that we see on March 21st. Remember that it's been about 30 years since Saturn has been in Aquarius. So this is an energy that we have not seen for a while, and for some of us, we've never seen it before in our lives. Saturn in Aquarius is at home. So we are still in its home position. Saturn in Capricorn and Saturn in Aquarius are both at home. But the energy here is very different, as Saturn in Capricorn is focused on government, on structures, on the foundation, the system, the laws, restrictions, rules, limits, maturity. And as it comes into Aquarius, there is a shift as it is focused on humanity. It's focused on friendship, connection, unity, peace, love, enlightenment, higher consciousness, higher awareness as it shifts into Aquarius. And so this is a major shift that we're seeing, as a lot of the focus is coming off of the old system, the old tradition, the old government, the old way of doing things. And so we are in a tower moment at the moment, as we are at this last degree of Saturn in Capricorn. And as it shifts on March 21st to 0 degrees of Aquarius, it is moving us into a brand new era that is this power, this structure, this system that is based off of people, that is based off of technology, connection, that is based off of the future and where we are headed. It is moving us into this brand new era here, where we're going to see major shifts in our focus and where we are at. And it's no coincidence here that we're seeing these restrictions with this coronavirus here, as Saturn is this planet of limits and restrictions. And so it is shifting into Aquarius, where it's putting the restriction and the limit on the people, on connection, on unity, on all of us collectively as a humanity. This is what Aquarius is about, is all of us coming together in unity. And so here we see Saturn in this very tight conjunction with Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto. And Jupiter and Mars are in an exact conjunction here on March 21st, where we see this very benefic energy of Jupiter and this more malefic energy of Mars coming together in Capricorn. Jupiter is at its fall position in Capricorn once again. So Jupiter, this planet of luck and fortune and good luck and optimism and faith and belief and higher understanding is at its weakest position here in Capricorn, where it has to face reality, it has to face the world, it has to face the structures, the rules, the limits. And so a lot of this energy feeling like we're not really getting anywhere, we're not really getting anything done, things are not in our favor. And so this Jupiter in Capricorn is a major faith test. It's a major test of if we're going to have the resilience to keep going, to keep working, to keep pushing towards our goals, as this feels kind of sluggish, as this great big planet of hope and optimism is stuck here in the hardship and the discipline of reality. And it is conjoined here with Mars, where Mars is in its exaltation here in Capricorn, Mars in its strongest position in Capricorn, as Mars is this masculine energy that is about purpose and determination and passion and moving forward, getting the work done, serving a purpose. So it is this drive, this aggression, this forward movement of Mars that is at its most powerful position here in Capricorn, as Capricorn is dealing with the structure, it's dealing with the purpose, it's dealing with power and status and fame and where we are headed in our lives, what we are aiming for to achieve. And so as Mars and Jupiter come together with this Pluto and this Saturn, this is a clash of super intense energy. And we are going to see Mars make this conjunction later on with Pluto, which is going to be even more intense, this exact conjunction with Pluto, as Pluto is also this super intense energy of this dark, mysterious power and control, this determination, this desire, and this intense transformation, sex, death, rebirth, life. And as these two energies come together, this creates extreme intensity. And so this is a major point where we see this energy that is building up come to this point of extreme conflict. And with all of this energy in Capricorn, things are already seeming very, very intense, very restrictive. We've never seen this much Capricorn this close together. And so all of this energy is throwing a lot of people off at this time. As Capricorn is more serious, it is more focused on the rules, it is more disciplined, more rigid, more structured. And so sort of taking us out of this more positive, more uplifting energy and focusing on reality and the responsibilities that need to be taken care of with this energy. And so this is a big shift as we're seeing Saturn that has been sitting here in Capricorn for a very long time now, making this shift into Aquarius, where the focus is now on the people. It is now on unity. It is now on uplifting us. It is now on seeing the truth and the knowledge for what it is. It's now on raising the frequency and the vibration. And so we are completely in this tower moment of breaking down old systems and structures. This is a moment of apocalypse. This is a tower card moment of really breaking down these structures and these systems to put in place a new structure, this new reality, which will be Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn will make this aspect here, this trine to Venus in Taurus, Where Venus in Taurus is at home, it is in this place of comfort and security and structure. And so this is all about the things that we love, the things that we value, the things that we can relate to, that we find structure and security in, that is changing, that is being restructured, as it did make the conjunction with Uranus earlier on, which did shake things up. It did change our values, our belief systems, our structures, our relationships, and is raising the frequency. Remember that Uranus is at its fall position in Taurus. It is at its weakest position. It would rather be in Scorpio, where it can transform, it can change, it can go through these intense and radical changes, but it's stuck here in Taurus where it has to find the security, the foundation. And so Uranus is here breaking down these old structures, these old foundations, these old values, these old relationships, and trying to raise the frequency, trying to change what it is that we love and value in our lives. So a lot of change and transformation that is through this earth energy, this physical, practical energy. So we are seeing the structure, the foundation being broken beneath us as we're shifting into this new era. Now, this Saturn in Aquarius is happening a few days after the Sun enters Aries. We see the Sun enter Aries on the 19th, which is the start of this new astrological new year. Right? And for many, this is varying in the actual day that this is occurring. Right? We are corresponding this shift into the sign of Aries with the spring equinox. And so this shift is for us to move into the season of spring, the season of coming back into new life, the birth, right? This enthusiasm, this will, this spring to life, this new expression. And so as Saturn makes this aspect over to the Sun in Aries, this is a challenging position. The Sun and Saturn are enemies, as Saturn is focused in the reality, is focused in the work that needs to be done, and is a public energy, dealing with the public, dealing with the people, dealing with the government, the systems. The Sun coming back to self, coming back to who we are and what we identify with. And it is in the sign of Aries where it is in its exaltation, its most powerful position is in Aries, where Aries deals with the identity, it deals with the expression of self. And so there is a major shift here in our identities as well. There is a change that is not only external, but that is within us as well. So many people going through these radical changes of identity, and especially as the Sun is making a conjunction with Lilith, which is at 28 degrees of Pisces, as well as Chiron, that is in Aries at 5 degrees. And we did see earlier on this conjunction of Lilith and Chiron in Aries, where this is the ultimate breakdown of ego. This is the ultimate breakdown of attachment to identity. And so there is a major shift not only going on in the collective, but going on within us on an individual level as well. So that is the horoscope for the first day that we shift into this Saturn in Aquarius. We are going to see that this is the foreshadowing of what this energy is going to be like, as this is a short phase of this Saturn in Aquarius that will retrograde back into Capricorn before we experience the full long phase of this Saturn transit. So now let's take a look at the next major Saturn event, which will be Saturn conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Mars is going to catch up with Saturn. And we're going to see here that Pluto and Jupiter are not catching up with Saturn. They are going to retrograde before they have the chance to catch up to this energy. And we are going to see in December, towards the end of the year, that Jupiter will eventually catch up to Saturn. Pluto is not going to catch up to Saturn. We saw the last major conjunction of this Pluto and Saturn energy back in January, which was a very intense moment of really breaking down the structures and the reality, really going through this intense transformation. And remember that I had mentioned last year that this is a difficult year, that this is a number 4 year, that is of the work, is of finding the security, is of changing and doing the inner work and going through these challenging and difficult lessons. And as we have gone through this energy, this has been an intense start of the year. We're only here in March. That remember that all of this Capricorn energy is creating this intensity. And remember that the South Node, along with Pluto and Saturn, have also been here in Capricorn, which is releasing and letting go of these old structures and systems that no longer serve us, especially on a collective level. So this is an intensity that we have not experienced and seen for a very long time here. And we are going to see that when Mars and Saturn come together, that this is ultimately putting these two energies of passion and drive and determination. Many people in the astrology community looking at Saturn as this planet of karma and rules and restrictions. Remember that Saturn also deals with power, status, where we end up in our career, in our lives, the legacy that we leave behind. So there is a level of power and determination that is also present in this Saturn energy as well. And when we add that to Mars in this tight conjunction, we see that this increases this passion and drive on a collective level. And this is where we are going to see major intensity and forward motion with this restriction, with this limitation of this unity, of this bond, this togetherness here in Aquarius. We're also going to see this passion and determination and drive in trying to unite the people, in trying to come together in unity and peace. And so major themes coming up of the age of Aquarius, as we are going through these major shifts, we are going to see the moon make a conjunction with the North Node in Cancer, which, remember, we haven't talked a lot about this North Node in Cancer, that this is an energy that is closing out. It's coming to an end. And so it is at its most intense position now, as it's starting to make the shift, as we're going to see the North Node shift back into Gemini in May. And so as the North Node is finishing out this transit in Cancer, it is reminding us to unite together. Cancer here is about emotional connection. It is about the home, the family, the true connection coming together. And so there are big themes here of soul family, especially as the moon unites with the North Node in Cancer. As the moon is here at home in Cancer, it is dealing with emotions, it is dealing with connection, it's dealing with this reaction and this security and connection to home. And so ultimately, with this North Node here, it is bringing us back to home. It is bringing us back to connecting emotionally to the highest level in our lives. And so, with all of this Capricorn energy in here, remember that we are going through this restructuring. With all of this is going to bring up a lot of fear. This is going to bring up a lot of challenge. As Jupiter, this planet of faith and hope and optimism, is stuck here in this sign that is dealing with hardships and reality and challenges, that this is a challenging moment to go through this restructuring, to go through this apocalypse, this breakdown, coming into this brand new reality with Saturn in Aquarius. And remember that Uranus in Taurus is a big part of this shift in reality, as it is breaking down and it is creating chaos to create a new reality, to raise the frequency and the vibration of our values, of our structure, our security, our finances, our relationships, as it is in Taurus, dealing with our possessions and our values. And so Uranus making this square over to Saturn in Capricorn is a big challenge moment. It is a big moment of restructuring and breaking down these things, not only that are structured collectively in Capricorn, but structured on an individual level in our lives. So, on an individual level, what we are finding security in, what we are finding value in our lives, are also being restructured. Venus still in there in Taurus, starting to come to the last degrees, making its way into Gemini. It is still dealing with the things that we hold value in. And as it does shift into Venus, we are going to see a major moment of Venus making a conjunction with the North Node in Gemini, and it will retrograde at that point as well. So there is a big moment of dealing with the values in our lives, dealing with what makes sense in our lives and what the structure looks like, the relationships, the foundation, as Venus does go through this retrograde later on as it shifts into Gemini. And once again, we are going to see the Sun in Aries make an aspect over to this Saturn in Capricorn as well, which is again playing into our identity, our ego, our attachment to self, and what does that look like in our lives, especially as Lilith and Chiron are still in Aries as well, going deep into the psyche of who we are individually and bringing up these wounds connected to identity, connected to who we are and what we identify with. We're also going to see Mercury play into this as well, as Mercury is making the semi-sextile to Saturn here as well. And Mercury finally is going to be here past its shadow. Remember that Mercury went back into Aquarius, and that is where it's stationed direct. So Mercury had to go all the way back through Pisces again, which is what we are experiencing now. So Mercury finally passed that point of its post-shadow. still making its way halfway through Pisces. So, still having to deal with this Mercury and Pisces, which is at its fall position. Remember that Mercury is about logic, it is about the details, it is about analyzing and making sense of the situation and communicating what is really going on. And it is lost as it is in this dream world, this spiritual world of Pisces. And so we are going to see this Mercury and Pisces energy continue all the way until April. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Saturn retrograde that we're going to see on May 11th of 2020. It will retrograde back to 1 degree of Aquarius, and it will remain there until July 1st, where it will retrograde back into Capricorn. So this will end out this short phase of Saturn in Aquarius with this Saturn retrograde, which this Saturn retrograde is going back over what it is that we need to review and look at in our lives, moving into this new phase, this new system, this new reality of Saturn in Aquarius. So this is a major review period of Saturn retrograde here starting on May 11th, where we are going to have to face major reality, major restructuring. These lessons are going to come up as a major review period in our lives. And remember that we have not seen Saturn in Aquarius for 30 years. So this retrograde of Saturn in Aquarius is an intense moment of realizing that these old structures, these old traditions no longer hold a space in our lives, as this Saturn in Aquarius is shifting us into the future. It is shifting us into the new age, as Aquarius does deal with the future, and it is shifting us into this space of divine love, of unity, of uplifting, and raising the frequency and vibration of the collective, as well as this increase in technology. We're going to see major revamping in technology. We're going to see technology starting to take over more as we are shifting into this new future era here with this Saturn in Aquarius. And we do see a square here with Uranus in Taurus once again, still on this energy of breaking down our values, our systems, our structure, our foundation on a personal level. What are the things that we find value and love in? And this is a part of this Saturn retrograde. This is making the aspect. And so these things will come up as well. So we're not just seeing the restructuring collectively, but also on an individual level coming up a part of this retrograde. And we also see Mercury here as well. Mercury now at the end of Taurus, getting ready to make its way into Gemini. Mercury in Taurus is trying to make sense of our values, our relationships, our finances, our structure. And as it makes its way home into Gemini, it is giving us more clarity, it is giving us more information to go off of. And so this is the first time that Mercury feels at home after this long transit through Pisces, where it was lost and confused. So now it's finally starting to bring some clarity and some understanding as it makes its way into Gemini. And we do see the moon in the early degrees of Capricorn, something that we experienced early on that we're going to see a part of the next eclipse that is making us understand and see the reality for what it is, that is making us realize the work that needs to be done, that is making us realize the area in which we need to be responsible in our lives. So this Capricorn intensity continues. And we do see Venus in Gemini at this point. It is coming to the last degrees of Gemini here, starting to come into this conjunction that we're going to see of the North Node in Gemini, where it will station retrograde. So it is getting ready for this major retrograde that is bringing up issues of values of relationships, especially in terms of connection and communication, as it is going to retrograde in Gemini. So let's take a look at the second time that Saturn enters into Aquarius, which will be on December 17th. This is the permanent starting phase of this brand new cycle, as it will remain in Aquarius until March 7th of 2023. So this is a brand new cycle that we will enter into officially on December 17th. And we do still see Saturn into this tight conjunction here with Jupiter and the moon in Capricorn. So this is an out of sign conjunction here. And with this, we are still facing reality. We're still facing the restrictions. We're still facing this difficulty that is a faith test. But Jupiter here at the last degree of Capricorn is getting ready to advance. It is getting ready to liberate and free us as it starts to make its way into Aquarius, which is where we will see the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, which once again is a lifetime transit. That is a major moment of expansion and self-mastery in our lives, and it is this major moment of this age of Aquarius. And here we do see Mercury and the Sun making the conjunction in Sagittarius. And so Mercury is lost here as it is trying to find the details. It's trying to find the information. But Sagittarius here is very large, very expansive, making it very difficult for Mercury to be analytical and precise about the details. Instead, the communication, the message, and the clarity comes from a much higher perspective, comes from a much broader point of view. And so there's a lot that the universe has to say at this moment as Saturn is coming into its official transit of Saturn in Aquarius. This is a major moment of shifting our reality, of shifting our focus, of shifting the structure and foundation of where we are in our lives. So this is a major moment of a brand new era coming off of this. And keep in mind that moving forward, Saturn is going to make an aspect with the North Node in Gemini, which is a major karmic moment as the North Node is dealing with destiny, is dealing with the lessons and the knowledge that we need to learn moving forward. And Saturn is this karmic planet of lessons, of restrictions. And as it is liberated in Aquarius, giving the power and raising the vibration of the collective, that it is opening up to new experiences, to new knowledge and information and truth that is coming to the light. So major awakening that we will see with many here. And Mars will be in Aries coming off of a retrograde that we will see start in September. This Mars retrograde in its home sign of Aries, which is a part of this ultimate breakdown of the ego, this ultimate breakdown of the identity, as Mars feels empowered in Aries to push, to go forward, to express, to take action. Very impulsive position with Mars in Aries, ready to take action on the self. But as it comes into a retrograde, it is putting us through this review period of once again facing this death of the ego, facing this major moment of this breakdown and challenge and adversary to the attachments of self. And so we are coming into a space that is more focused on the collective, that is more focused on bringing the people together in unity. So let's take a look at this great conjunction. On December 21st, Jupiter and Saturn make a conjunction in 0 degrees Aquarius. And Jupiter and Saturn take about a lifetime to come together in this conjunction. So this is something that we have never seen before. This is known as the Great Conjunction, as it is the two largest planets coming together. And this is a major moment. Both Jupiter and Saturn are teachers. Jupiter teaching us through hope and optimism and expansion in our lives, and Saturn teaching us through rules, restrictions, and karma. And so as these two planets come together, this is a major self-mastery moment, as it is in Aquarius, where Aquarius is this sign that is about raising the vibration of all of us collectively. Aquarius brings all of us together, as it is the water bearer. It is here to share the information with all of the collective. And so this is a major age of Aquarius moment, as it is a huge wake-up call, as Saturn is showing us the reality and Jupiter is expanding our minds here in Aquarius. And so big moment of growth and evolution collectively with all of us. Big moment of unity. And so keep in mind that with Saturn here in Aquarius, that it is bringing a lot of truth and a lot of reality to all of us collectively, as it is in Aquarius, which deals with friendships and groups of people. Now we do see Pluto still involved in this conjunction. Mars has left. Mars is at the last degrees of Aries, beginning to make its way into Taurus, where it is going to make in interaction with Uranus, which is going to accelerate this chaos, this breakdown, this restructuring of our values, of our relationships, of our belief systems, of these personal foundations that we value and love and support in our lives. And so continuing to expand and continuing to raise the frequency collectively, and the moon in Pisces playing a major role in this as well, as it is making the sextile over to Saturn. This moon in Pisces, feeling a little out of place, feeling a little lost, a little confused for many. This moon in Pisces is taking us into an intuitive space, a creative space. It is pulling us out of the physical construct of what reality once looked like. So remember that we are restructuring reality as Saturn is here in Aquarius, still at 0 degrees. So still in this starting moment of this restructuring of this brand new reality, this brand new age, this brand new era that we are shifting into. And so as it does make this square to Mars and Aries, once again, this is this forward movement, this forward progress of uniting us, of bringing us together, of looking at this more as a collective and less as a major focus on the ego, on the identity. And so we're all coming together in this space of unity. This is a major moment of affecting all of us collectively. So shifting into this higher frequency, this higher vibration, and something that we are going to see early on is this North Node in Gemini splitting. As anytime you put an energy in Gemini, it does separate and split it into multiple sections. We are going to see our destiny, our path, our lesson of this North Node in Gemini that is going to split us up collectively into different destinies, different destinations, different paths to walk along. And so we are going to see this major moment of this North Node in Gemini giving us a choice of where we want to head in our lives. And we are going to see a breakdown of individuals who are choosing to go backwards and others who are choosing to go forward. So this North Node in Gemini splitting the collective as we're going through this major revamp, as we're going through this evolution collectively. So a lot that's going on here. I am going to revisit this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction later on. That is your horoscope for Saturn in Aquarius. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks if you have watched the video up to this point. This is a longer one. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. And I will see you all in the next video. If you are interested in joining the Facebook group, Astro Metaphysical Love and Light, it is a community for sharing your knowledge, motivation, and positivity. Feel free to join. Also, if you are interested in learning about astrology, feel free to join the group Astrology Lessons with Daquan Jones to learn with me. Once again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.